Our next story is about a collector who became so enthusiastic about antique machines that his collection practically took over his Barrington Hills home. So he did what any wealthy collector would do. He made the house bigger. Here's Phil Ponce with a look inside.
The 5 kids who grew up in this house had a rather unique childhood.
It was a lot of fun. It was very noisy. My father would use the orchestrions to wake us up in the morning because they were right outside our bedrooms.
Jeffrey Sanfilippo has since grown up and left the house, but his parents still live here, surrounded by marvels of the Industrial Revolution.
Most normal families, when the kids grow up, the parents will move into a condo or they'll downsize. Well, as we grew up, the collection grew. So as a result, the house grew.
It all started with a single automatic musical instrument bought by Jeffrey's father Jasper in 1976. Jasper Sanfilippo is the former CEO of the parent company of Fisher Nuts. But he's a mechanical engineer by training, so he was fascinated by these ingenious machines.
Not only are they automated and mechanical, but they also create beautiful sounds, and they are beautifully designed. So it's just a combination of the music that they created and the technology to create the sound.
And as Jasper Sanfilippo's passion for these devices grew, his 6,000 square foot home grew into a 44,000 square foot complex containing one of the world's largest collections of automatic musical instruments.
On Friday night, my father would invite all of my football friends over for dinner, and then we would sleep over. Well, the next morning, a huge semi would arrive filled with music machines, and of course, all my football friends were big and strong, so they helped us unload the trucks.
If you've ever seen a player piano, then you're familiar with the idea of an automatic musical instrument. Before the invention of radio, these contraptions provided entertainment at hotels, restaurants, and taverns. But many automatic musical instruments were much more complex than a single piano.
This is a 1911 Wurlitzer piano orchestrion. An orchestrion basically takes the place of an orchestra. So an establishment could have one of these and not hire an orchestra.
It has a feature that's familiar to anyone who's seen a 6-CD changer.
Wurlitzer offered a carousel called a roll changer. So it would automatically unload and load each roll. This is an organ orchestrion that was manufactured in 1892. And it plays its music off of a pin barrel. This was manufactured at a time when there was no electricity. So the power was provided by heavy weights in the back of the machine, which we hand wound to the top. This is the latest instrument in the collection, 1948. It was made in Belgium. It's a dance organ. It's different than the earlier classic dance organs in as much that it has exposed accordions.
Keep in mind, these devices were popular at a time when Americans could just as easily play music on a phonograph. But the scratchy sounds of recorded music just never compared.
It's a real piano, real organ pipes, drums. The sound is very different, the experience is very different than something coming out of a horn.
The Sanfilippo home is also stocked with an extensive array of recorded music players. Over the years, the collection has grown to include all kinds of technological wonders from the past. From American-made light fixtures to massive stationary steam engines. There are 19th century train cars, including a set used at an early Ford factory. And they have an extensive collection of antique arcade games. At the turn of the last century, these games were used at penny arcades, the precursor to the modern video arcade. In 1987, the Sanfilippos acquired this French carousel.
This carousel toured the north of France from 1890 to 1954, except for 2 world wars. It was powered by 3 steam engines. 1 steam engine to operate the carousel, 1 steam engine for the electric lighting, and then the 3rd steam engine would operate the fair organ.
And then there's the world's largest theater organ, set in a 350-seat theater. It has 8,000 pipes that play 80 different organ sounds, plus a host of instruments. This collection may seem somewhat eclectic, but there is a common theme here. All of these machines changed the way people lived during the Industrial Revolution. And while the technology may seem somewhat primitive to iPod-toting generations, when you consider that these devices were made more than a century ago, they do seem quite impressive.
It's amazing just recreating the sounds of an orchestra and not having the digital equipment or the technology they have today, but still having the engineering mindset to recreate the sounds.
In the years to come, the Sanfilippo family will be sharing these engineering marvels. They've opened the estate to charities which hold fundraisers here. And the family has started a foundation to make sure their collection survives long into the future.
People don't even know these machines exist. And so when you hear these machines just as they sounded back in the early 1900s, it's just, I think, a great way to educate people and make them aware of the technology and just these beautiful instruments that were created almost 100 years ago.
Wow. The estate is not open to the public, but the Sanfilippo Foundation does offer pre-arranged tours to groups of 50 or more. As we mentioned, they also let charities use the facilities for events. For more information, you can go to our website, WTTW.com/Chicago Tonight.